Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Mike. This is Strength Restored. This is my kind of late. I already posted like a workout video, but this is just my kind of like an intro. Just want to kind of explain what I'm doing, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest, but it's just been on my heart to sort of make this video and kind of explain. Not that I need to explain anything, I guess, but kind of break down the name of the channel, the name of this kind of, I guess it's a business, you would call it. It's what I do business as, you know. I also just do business under my own name, but yeah, so a couple months back, I quit my job at a normal gym I was training at here in San Diego. It was like kind of like a small, like neighborhood gym, like mom and pop type stuff. And I was there for close to 3 years, maybe like 2.5, somewhere in there. And definitely, you know, had some growth there, and it was good for the most part. You know, I had to just end it because things were kind of, you know, when things just sort of come to an end and they just feel like your soul doesn't feel right anymore. So that's happened a few times to me. I'm sure you can relate. So as I was getting ready to put in my resignation for this last company, I'm, you know, not really sure what I'm going to do. I know I'm starting to learn about myself. I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in a few months, and I've learned that I don't do well with like bosses and like being told what to do. I don't do well taking a, not how do I say it? It's hard for me to sit back and see the things that could be done better, and put in a lot of work on my end and effort, and unpaid effort a lot of times, unrecognized effort, and still have people not care, have people just, even if it's their own business, seem to not care about it the way I do. And you know, it is what it is. Everybody has their own cross to bear, but for me, I just feel like, well, if I'm gonna put that much effort into somebody else, why not just put it into myself, right? And so I prayed a lot, and just took some time and tried to really think about what would be the next step, and it kept just coming back to me over and over again, just to do it on my own, right? To be a trainer on my own. And that's sort of what I'm doing. In my seventh year right now. I think in February, March will be my 8th year as a trainer. I actually have to renew some of my certifications coming up here. So, yeah, it'll be 8 years. So anyways, I guess the point is, what am I doing? Like, what do I do? I've been struggling with that for a while. You know, when I first quit, I hit the ground running. I started making, getting website stuff set up, getting my, what do they call it, like fictitious business name, so I can open up a business checking account, right? I had to, set up like stuff on social media, like links, a link tree, do my own back end work, right? Like my pricing and what I'm going to charge and how am I going to market. And so, I spent on the front end a lot of time pouring into that. I even started designing t-shirts. That's another like passion of mine. I like to design like gym t-shirts, mainly just for myself to wear, because it's like I can never find like shirts that I like to wear. I like very simple, but to the point type, faith-based Christian shirts, right? And so that's what I've been some designing that too. And I did a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, my dog's getting lost behind there. Sam, come on, buddy, catch up. Come on, let's go. Sorry. So um, trying to put a bunch of effort into it. And in the beginning, through prayer and just being open to God's voice. I'm gonna stop here in the shade for a second so I can see you guys. I can't even see myself. Through hearing God's voice, I started to kind of analyze, like, what is it that I do as a trainer? Every trainer, I think, has got a specific niche, things that you're just particularly better at than most, right? I'd like to think that I'm pretty good at a lot of things, right? I'm pretty good at developing strength, developing physiques, like even like something like bodybuilding, losing weight, right? All the, you name it, right? Mobility, flexibility. And I've tried to almost be like a master of all of them. And I don't know if that's right. I think God gives us all certain gifts and abilities, talents, right? And so I had to think about what is it that I can do. Even right now, I'm still thinking about it. But my heart is for people that are struggling, right? For people that feel not just physically weak, but emotionally, spiritually weak. I found that the gym, obviously there's the whole spiritual side of things, right? We probably won't get too deep into that today. I will talk about it, but I've found that for me anyways, the gym is almost like it brought me back to my faith with God. Because it's like a metaphor, right? Like sacrifice, putting in effort. Hold on a second. Sam, come here. Yeah, people creeping in the bushes right here. There was like earlier before I started the video, there's a pathway, and there was like a homeless guy. I've seen him here before. He like just comes like out of the bushes out of nowhere. Seems kind of sketchy. I don't know how much I want to make out of it. But there was somebody walking around in the bushes out there right now. They like kind of stopped and just kind of, so I think they were waiting for me to pass. Sad to say, I think there's probably people living in the bushes here, have like camps there, but for the grace of God go I, right? Not judging, just watch out that they're not trying to grab my dog or something. Okay, so back to where I was, right? The name, the company, Strength Restored. The idea, my main thing here is that through developing strength and almost like confidence in the gym, we can start to sort of develop the strength and the courage to kind of turn to God and almost like let go in some ways, right? Surrender. Because sometimes you'll realize in the gym, not everything comes fast, right? It takes time. There's a process. There's sacrifices that need to be made. There's consistency, right? There's so many things that I would say walk hand in hand sort of with even like your faith walk, with God. And so the strength restored is not just physical strength, but spiritual, right? Emotional strength restored. And I hope that I can, with the help of God, right, with his blessing, I can reach clients, pour into them, help them to gain some confidence, gain some actual strength and improvement in their physical well-being, but that it'll open up an avenue for me to, pour into them spiritually as well, right? I don't force anything on anybody. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm going to get somebody, it's just, if the opportunity presents itself, and I've seen it happen time and time again with dozens of clients, God will open the door and open people's hearts and minds to be receptive, right? And all I can do really is just introduce them and give them my insight. Then at that point, it's kind of up to them to see where they want to take their walk with God. So, it's even personal for me, my own life, right, is just like, I feel like it's been a lot of ups and downs, just a lot of like losses, right? A lot of losing everything and then having to build it back. There's a pretty well-known story in the Bible about the book of Job. I'm sure a lot of people know that. If you don't know it, Job was a guy in the Bible that I don't know. It's hard. The story is kind of for me, it's a little. I struggle with a lot of stories in the Bible, right? Because I'm like, well, it seems like almost like he was just getting picked on. It's like, why play this? It's almost like a game being played, right? But my own personal opinions being aside, the story is that God allows Satan to test Job because, again, this is where I struggle. Why he allows it is, it's almost like, I guess he's proving to Satan, right, the faith of Job. But anyway, so, in this, he tells Satan, you're allowed to do anything you want to Job, to my servant, just don't take his life, right? And so Satan goes ahead and he does everything. He basically kills all his children. He gets a bunch of disease. He gets boils all over his body, kills off all his livestock, all his wealth, his home, everything just destroyed, right? And the idea is Satan is saying that he's going to curse you. And God is saying, no matter what you do, he won't curse me. He won't lose his faith in me. And it's true. And then through the story, Job keeps his faith no matter what happens, right? And then God restores, right? Keyword, restores everything back to Job. I think it's like 7-fold or 10-fold or something like that. And he gets everything back, more kids and more wealth. And so I think about that a lot, right? Because I think a lot of us have all been, I use it like a verb nowadays, right? We've all been Jobbed. Have you ever been Jobbed before? There's a few times in my life, right? When I was young, I remember one time, oh man, when I was in my 20s, I had the month, I know exactly when it was. It was 2013, it was October. And in that month, I lost my job. I lost my car broke down, right? My car broke down, so I had to start taking the bus. I lost my job, right? And then guess what happens, right? No money, no honey. Shortly after that, I broke up with my girlfriend, right? So in the 3 weeks, boom, 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 right? And look, at that time, I had no walk with God. I had no faith. So, I mean, I had faith, but I wasn't walking in God's grace. And so I can see how the things that weren't serving me were taken away from me, right? It happened again a couple times after that, right? For the similar reasons, right? I think they just wasn't meant for me. It wasn't, even through all this, even though I wasn't going to church and I wasn't really close with God, I would still pray. And I would still pray for God's, protection and for him to take care of me. And his prayers, looking back, he answered the prayers, but just not how I thought he would. Sometimes God takes things away. I've had arguments with people about this, right? They say, oh, God would never do anything bad. Nothing bad comes from God, right? Now, God wouldn't take anything from you like that, right? They would say that to me. But I don't believe that. What if it's an addiction, right? What if it's like alcoholism or drug abuse, right? What if he takes something like that away from you? Isn't that a good thing? Right? What about a desire, a lustful desire you shouldn't have? What if he takes that away from you? I think even in the book of Job, there's a line, there's a famous verse. It's the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. So where was I going with that? So the point is I've been Jobbed a few times, right, in my life. I don't want to go into all of it. It's not so much like it's a secret. It's just, I don't want to belabor the point. I think you guys get it. Right now, I almost feel like I'm in a Jobbed season, right? But the difference between now and all the other times in my life is that I think I did it to myself, but on purpose, in a good way. I left the job, it was a decent job, paid the bills for the most part. But I had to let it go. And the thing with me is I do things, I've always been a procrastinator, right? Even in school, I was always waiting till the last minute. I was up the night before doing the whole project that I had weeks to do. the report that I had weeks to do. I was doing it the night before, so up till whatever 1 a.m. because I just put it off till the last minute. I don't know why I'm like that. That's also something I struggle with. Why are we the way we are? And are we supposed to really be fighting our nature? Are we a certain way for a reason? Does God, I mean, God makes us, right? God made us the way we are. He knit us in our mother's womb, right? He knows us before we're even born. So is it really like, I don't know. These are things that I've been dealing with lately, right? I'm kind of speaking, just rambling in a weird way, but I need to kind of get this off my chest, I guess. I don't expect people to watch this. I don't really expect this. Look, I never expected I'd be walking with a selfie stick, right? Which I'm doing right now, and people are looking at me. I don't really care, right? But I mean, if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I'd be like, oh, heck no, I wouldn't be doing that, you know? And yet here I am. So the point is I did a lot of moving, right? Around COVID time, 2020. And that's another time I got jobbed, right? I moved to Tennessee. And I lost all of that, you know. I'll tell that story maybe another time, but I had a significant other, and I had moved all the way across country, left my family and everything. And then I lost all that and had to move, and I didn't want to come home from Tennessee when that happened. I was like, first of all, just ashamed and, you know, like tail tucked between my legs and tucked between my legs. And then also just, I knew if I had come home all depressed, I would probably get into drinking and partying and things that I don't want to be doing. I shouldn't say that. I want to be doing them, but I know I can't do, and I know that they don't serve me, and it's not what God wants for me. So I had to stay away for a while. And I went to Florida. I stayed in Florida for like a year and a half. And in Florida is where this is where I'm kind of culminating. This is where I really got my connection back with God. And I got my walk back with God. And I really heard him and listened to him. And this is where he gave me this idea. This is where I first heard this word, restored. Not that I hadn't heard it before, but this is where I kind of almost heard it from God himself. As I was kind of just struggling. I was lost out in Florida. I just got to work out there. I started working right away and just was kind of like trying to numb out the pain, not really accept it. And the only thing I knew is I had no family. I had no friends out there. I needed God. So I found a church and I started going to church, you know. The first church I went to, great. You know, again, God works in really awesome ways sometimes. And I was training at a gym out there. It was kind of like an LA Fitness out there. They call it Sporta. And I would teach like group classes, twice a week or something like that. So group training and then personal training. And one of the girls came in one day and she was like, oh, hey, like, do you go to church? And I was like, yeah, I go to church right over here at this place. She's like, well, hey, I really want to invite you to my church. It's another church. And it's really great. It's just really different. And, you know, I get a little suspicious. I'm like, different. Like, okay, I'm always thinking people are going to get me in some like Scientology or something, right? But I actually just felt pulled by the Lord when she said that. And I said, okay. And where is it? You know, what is it? And I'll check it out. And, I did. I went, and it's an awesome church. It's like Pentecostal, right? Which, if you know anything about Pentecostals, they get pretty loud and rowdy, which I'm cool with. I understand that, right? I'm not super loud and rowdy like that, but, there's a purpose for everything, right? And so I went and like, man, I just was hit by like the Holy Spirit just right away. You could just feel it. Like I got there early the first time by accident. So I just sat there and I was praying. I could just feel God's presence in that, what do you call it? Sanctuary. And then, you know, like one of the second, third times I went, you know, the preacher was up there and, you know, he was just like, I have like a prophetic word for you out there, somebody out there. He was like, the devil's taken so much from you. And I know that you're suffering and I know you're hurting and I know that you feel like there's no hope. And he was just like, but God has a word for you and it's restoration. He is going to restore everything that the devil took from you, even more. He's going to restore it. He's going to bring it back for you. And I just started crying and I was just a puddle of tears because I just felt like it was for me. Like that word was for me, probably for other people too. And I knew then that sat with me, and I still was there for another 6 months, a year, maybe like 8 months or whatever, but in Florida, in Orlando. But that hit me, right? And I just was praying to God, like, just guide me, direct me. What do I need to do, right? And then he brought me back here. That was in 2023, and I was working at this other gym, and long story short, here I am. But the idea is I brought the two together, right? I like to help people get stronger, physically stronger. My niche, whether I would like it or not, sometimes I like fight against it. What I do as a trainer is I rehab people in a way that most people can't. This is one thing I haven't been able to explain necessarily. I know it's God. That's the only way I can explain it, because any job I've had, because nobody else wants to take it because they're hard, they're difficult, they can be overwhelming. People that have injuries, people that have chronic pain, chronic issues, whether it be knee pain, they're going into knee surgery, they're post knee surgery, shoulder issues, ligaments that have been having surgery on, frozen shoulder. I mean, you name it. SI joint problems, right, in your spine, ankle problems, foot problems, neck problems, cervical problems, they call it, right? All of these things, fibromyalgia, people with MS. I've had kids, I trained young kids that have autism, like severe autism, right? And I'm just a trainer in a gym. And when I first got these clients, I would first get them, I was living in Tennessee, and I would just like, I don't really know how to do this. I mean, I know how, I get the idea, the basics, but what makes me better than a PT, like a doctor? Like, why isn't a physical therapist able to do this, right? And so I didn't have the answer. I just prayed and asked God. And sometimes I would go into these sessions like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, what do I start? And it would just like, and God would like point me in that direction. He'd be like, that's what you're going to use today. Like, do that over there. And as I'm going, just walking by faith, right? Because sometimes I didn't know. As I've done it longer and I've learned more, right? And I've done this a lot now, I'm more comfortable with it, right? But still, even now, I'll have a plan. I'll write out a plan for somebody for their injury or whatever their issue, their pain is. And God in the middle of the session's like, nope, we're changing it. And then I have to I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, we're doing something else. Sorry. And I'll change it, but it's the right thing to do. That's my gift as a trainer. And so it's not like super sexy. It's not like fancy. Like, I'm not a bodybuilding coach. I've trained people that have gotten a lot of muscle, and I've trained people to get really strong, and I've trained people that have lost a ton of weight. Right. But if I had to really be honest with myself, my gift is rehabilitation, right? Strengthening people that are I almost want to say like disabled. Maybe they would call it special populations. That's the right term. Special populations. People, like I said, that with Alzheimer's, right? I had a client, my oldest client that I had, the oldest client I had was 93 years old. His name was Matt. And he had Alzheimer's, right? So he would forget sometimes, I could tell he would come in and he would really be struggling to try to remember something that like, to make it, normalized for him, And I trained Matt until he died. One day his wife came in and she just said, or my boss came and my boss told me Matt died, And sometimes we get this like the savior complex as trainers, right? Like, I want to save everybody, right? And I think like God, like, help me to fix everybody, right? And the truth is, I can't fix everybody, but He does put certain people in my life that I am able to help, and that they're just like, I don't know, like they'll be like, why did I go to doctors and all kinds of specialists and nobody could help me but you? Probably the not to belittle myself, but probably the cheapest option, right? Of all the options I tried. And some of that's the exercising, right? And some of that's that I pray for my clients, whether they know it or not. I'm praying for them. I'm praying for people. And it's my faith combined with obviously know-how and experience, right? And caring that makes me a good trainer, that makes me able to help the people that maybe get looked over in the gym, right? They're not the big, strong ones. They're not always the super fit, fit chick, cardio bunny. It's the guy that has to use a walker to come in, right? It's the woman in pain, right? That has fibromyalgia, right? Or diagnosed fibromyalgia, right? I had this one lady, right when I was leaving Florida, I was working with her, and she was like, I hate exercising. I don't want to exercise, but I've tried everything else and I can't get rid of my pain. And I was like, well, let's try it, right? Like, and so I prayed, right? I prayed for her, and did the exercises, did what I told her what you got to do. Got her in the pool a little bit, right? The pool helps a lot for a lot of things, by the way, for rehabbing things. If you can swim a little bit, that's a good way to start. Anyways, but then like right when I was leaving, like the week before I was leaving, we were stretching. We were like and on the mat, and I was just stretching with her, doing some warm ups. And she looks at me and she goes, "Look, I hate to admit this, but I think it's working." She was like, "Cause I don't have as much pain anymore." And it's things like that tell me that God is with me, right? Because these are things that most people don't have success with, or it's rare to have fast results the way that it happens with me sometimes, right? And I'm not saying I'm some kind of healer, or I'm some kind of like, I think I found what God has put me on this earth to do, and I'm able to reach people in the way that the skill that he's given me as almost like as a teacher, right? Like a coach. And it would be a sin for me to not do what is right. I think in the book of James, it talks about that, right? If you know what you should do and you don't do it, that is a sin, right? And so my whole job here is just to be obedient to God now. For the rest of the years I have on this earth, that's what I'm supposed to do, and that's what I'm called to do. Like I've told, people in my life, I'm like, I don't really like making videos. I know people don't watch it that much. I know probably people roll their eyes and they're just like, oh my God, It's funny because it's like the people that are your friends, right? Family, supposed to be close to you, and they're the ones that get the ick from you. That's fine. That's okay. No hard feelings. I think that's funny to feel like that way about somebody you care about. But anyways, I don't really like to make the videos, but right now, like this long form video, I feel like it's getting something off of my chest. It's helping me to think out loud. So that's the whole idea, right? Is to restore the strength that maybe the enemy has stolen from you. In whatever way that might be. But a lot of times if you're struggling mentally and you start with the physical, it'll have a reverse order effect. It'll help your mental, right? And also, like, if your physical is hurting, right? Maybe it's the spiritual that you need to help to fix, and with me, I talk about all that with my clients, right? We can address all that. It's not just physical things, but I mean, that's where we start, right? And a lot of times that's a great opener and a great way to get people moving, right? Really get the ball moving, I should say, right? But no pun intended, literally moving. So that's what Strength Restored is all about. That's what this channel is going to be about. Probably do some talking, right? Try to post some videos about exercising, but maybe get more in specific like rehab stuff that I do, things that I help people with, as far as name your ailment, right? Name your injury. And we can kind of maybe make videos about how to help that stuff you can do at home, stuff you can help yourself with, right? You can heal yourself, right? That's what the Bible talks about. Like, the healing is there. It's there for you. It's already been done. It's for you to just receive. And there's a story in the Bible about, I think it's the blind man. He's waiting by the pool to get healed, right? And Jesus goes up to him and says, like, do you even want to be healed? Like, you say you want healing, but do you really want it? Like, some of us are like so attached to our pain. We're so attached to our hurts and our wounds. It's like a crutch we use to justify why we are the way we are. I'm not pointing fingers or judging. I have problems too. I got a lot of issues I need to work through also. But if we can just learn how to let go and accept that it's already been done, that's a big one. We don't have to fight so hard to prove or earn our keep in God's eyes. We've already been redeemed. We've already been accepted. All we have to do is accept it, accept his love, accept that we're saved, right? Accept Jesus into your heart. That's what he says, is he knocks at the door and waits for you to answer. And we have to be able to humble ourselves, right? And drop the pride and just let go and surrender. And that's with a lot of things. That's a lot of things in life, right? That's a metaphor for a lot of stuff. It's just letting go and surrendering. I'm trying to work on that myself. Like I talked about earlier, I tried all this, right when I hit the ground running with this, going into business on my own, right? Training on my own. I was like, okay, do this and do that. And, get this business, and I got liability insurance, and get all this and check off all the boxes, and that's great and it's good. I think I should do that stuff, but I've been making videos online, right? Instagram reels, and I'm trying to like provide value, right? That's what they say. You provide value. If people get enough of it, you think you're providing enough, they're going to buy your product, right? They're going to want to buy you, right? And I guess there's some truth to that, right? That's some standard business stuff, but there's also something to be said about not forcing things and just going with the flow and just letting God's plan unfold as it should. And I think that's happening. I can see it. I've been through the ringer enough, and I've lived enough life and seen God work enough in my life that I have enough faith and some peace where I think that's going to happen. It's going to happen in a way maybe I don't even know yet. It'll lead me down a path, right? Look, in a few years, what if I'm not even a trainer? I think about that. That scared me. When I first thought about that, I was like, what? No, I have to be a trainer. But maybe I don't. Maybe there's another calling I'm called to and down the line, right? But for now, I think the training is where I'm at. It's what I'm really good at. Doesn't mean I can't be good at other things, but I'm open to wherever God takes me, and I trust that He's going to provide for me. He's going to provide for me to provide for the people that I love in my life, right? That's ultimately my goal. I don't want to get rich. I don't need a ton of money. I would like to pay my bills. That'd be nice, right? I'd like to be able to do the things I like to do, but I'm already doing that. That's the crazy thing is I worry. Sometimes I was telling my girlfriend that, man, like, I'm only making like a third of what I was making before, but I'm only like 2 months in, right? And I remember like 6 years ago praying on my knees, God, if you can just let me be a trainer. I was working 2 jobs, right? I was doing a regular job like in an office, and I was training like after work. I would go to this gym that hired me, and I would teach class. And then I remember praying like, God, if I could just, I loved it so much, and if I could just do that, if I could just be a trainer and nothing else and pay my bills, that's all I want, right? And I'm here. It's here. It's happening right now. I mean, I'm barely paying my bills. I'll be honest. Like like I said, I still have to get some more clients. That's for sure. And I'm definitely not going to get rich at where I'm at right now, but that's okay. But I'm here. Like that prayer was answered. It's answered. And so sometimes I have to sit back and be like, what am I crying about? I literally work maybe like, I don't even want to say it. Probably like, I'm going to count 10 hours a week. That's training. And that's also like, I have clients online that I train, right? So I program, I'll check in with clients, but I can do that from anywhere, right? On my phone, I have an app. I just text them, what are we doing? How you doing? How's the program going? What do you need? And then I go to some sessions during the week, and I literally can pay my bills doing that right now. I need to I definitely need to get more clients, right? Because I don't want to just eke by. I need to be able to save money and be responsible, but it's already happening. And I love what I do. And the rest of the time, I hang out with Sam. I hang out with my girlfriend. We go on walks, go to the beach. I go get breakfast with him. Dude, come on. I got no complaints. Everything is as it should be. And God has been really good to me. I might start crying about that, but yeah, so that's all. Hey, I just want to say that I'm here, and that if you're going through something similar, just have faith, reach out to God, stay close to God, read your word every day, pray every day, talk to Him, constantly talk to Him, have peace, right? If there's no peace, then there's no God. And just take that risk, right? Whatever it is you're thinking about, whatever it is you want to do, life's short, don't wait, take a chance. And so what if you fail, right? It's okay. I'll probably fail. That's cool. I'm all right with failing. That's fine. I think the one thing I don't want to do is not try. And then get to heaven and God said, like, I gave you this talent. I gave you this gift to give to other people, and you didn't. You held it to yourself, and you were selfish, and you were scared. And God doesn't reward cowards, and He doesn't. I don't want Him to reject me. So that's what I'm scared of, and that's the things that drive me. So life's good. I hope everybody's doing well. I'll be back, I'm sure, to ramble on a little bit longer. But God loves you. Have a good day.